90% of government expenditure was on what we call recurrent. What is recurrent? Salaries, travel, training, welfare. Welfare, by the way, is food. Welfare. That's what we were spending money on. Only 10% went on capital. Only 10% of government spending was on capital. Now, what is capital? Roads, rail, power, housing, building educational institutions. Only 10% of government expenditure was capital.
We have a very fruitful meeting, and Mr. President accepted all our requests. What the only president says, being him not a technical person, he is waiting Minister of Finance to return, and the president of the chairman of the Economic Council, that's the vice president, to be around so that they can give him a bumper spot back in support on what he's going to say to us. So we should schedule this meeting until next time when he returns from Turkey. Today, as we promised last week, that Honorable Speaker will follow up to our discussion on the constitutional amendment as done by the Deputy Senate President. And also, Mr. Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Kubudogara, as a key or critical stakeholders, they visited us, and then we are going to put our input and other critical areas that are not touched on the issue of restructuring, issue of devolution of power, etc. So all those are going to look into and eventually maybe considered and for the betterment of our country.
To give us a possible solution out of this trouble, earnings of the nation, in the nation's revenue, is not as reasonable as it should be. Your party is saying, look, there is a danger in borrowing. What would you suggest then, Dr. Ononuju, on how we can't talk about development when infrastructure is dilapidated, power is not there, roads are not there, rails are not there? What would you suggest in any case?
Thank you very much. I will suggest cohesive governance. Today, our country doesn't have cohesion. The government is not there. The president has not been in country for the best part of 24 months to lead. The party in power is in tatters. We have monumental corruption. Now look at this. There are no governance structures properly put in place. People are complaining. Today there are agitations everywhere. The government doesn't even know how to move forward. The reasons why our international partners are complaining is because they have seen that the money's been borrowed so far is being stolen. And this is what we are complaining about. Why don't you have an effective governance structure? So we are saying restructure. Restructure, because everything that ends in the hands of the cabal, we notice, are being stolen. And we say
Dr.
restructure.
I want, the question is, I want in 30 seconds, I need you to be able to hit the nail on the head. When you mean restructure, what exactly do you mean? It's become a cliche in our national life, Dr. Ononuju.
I want us to be honest, go back to the injunctions of the Sardauna in the 60s when you talked about restructuring, when you talked about the north for the north, the east for the east, the west for the west, the midwest for the midwest. That was restructuring. I am now asking, let us take the things to the regions. As you bring it to the center, as we've seen, all President Buhari had done is to bring together a cabal of thieves. Let us now allow the regions, in this case, the 6 geopolitical zones, to manage their things. Let the federal government do customs union, immigration, defense, and the central banking and the internal taxation. Let the federation units do the rest of the things. As you had Kemi Adeosun speak, how can we sustain 90% of our total budget on just recurrent expenditure? Right. That is too expensive. Nigeria is home to the most expensive governance system than anywhere else in the world. Let us now restructure the political superstructure to allow the federation unit to also contribute, since the federal government, from Buhari's perspective, has failed the country, and everybody agrees. My friend here also believes that Buhari has failed.
I'm afraid that's how far we can go. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for talking to us on the program today. Mr. Ayoyalo and Dr. Ononuju. Always a pleasure having both of you around. I'm afraid that's how far we can go on the program. Many thanks for being part of it, everyone. I'm Sean Kimale. Bye for now.